This is a young boy with a dream, a wish that might never have come true without the help of some very special people.
Phoenix was awarded the honorary rank of patrolman in late
Christopher and I were more buddies than, I guess, mother and son. We were just little buddies.
To be a highway patrolman. CIB agent Ron Cox, working with U.S. Customs agent Tom Austin, arranged for Chris's appointment to the honorary post.
From the time that we found out his diagnosis, when Chris was 4.5, he had latched on to this idea that when he grows up, he's going to be a cop. Police represented strength, power, the good things. They put the bad people in jail. And we explained it to him. Leukemia is kind of like the good guys are fighting the bad guys. And the good guys are the policemen, and the bad guys are the crooks.
Come on, Chris, let's go!
And that's what his blood was doing. So I think in a 5-year-old's mind, the association there was the police are good, and they're fighting, and I'm going to fight with them.
He was thrilled to ride in Ranger 28, and his little eyes beamed as he shut down the engine in Sky 12. To know this little guy was to love him.
What Chris didn't know was that this was only the beginning of the special events that the Department of Public Safety had planned. When Chris landed, he was met by Arizona Highway Patrolman Frank Shankwitz.
Officer Frank. Nice to meet you, Chris.
I thought this little boy was going to be out just very sick, but this little bound of energy came out of that helicopter. To me, a helicopter would be the ultimate ride, but he was just awed by that motorcycle. I got him on it, let him sit on there, play with the sirens and all the lights, and I asked him if he wanted to go for a ride. And he said, no, there's no doors on the motorcycle. No, I can't go for that. When it was all over with, it's just immediately just turned around a big thank you and a big hug. And it just kind of got you.
He wanted to be an officer, and they wanted him to be an officer. Officers help other police officers, and they were coming to the aid of this child.
They let him drive a patrol car. And Chris loved to blow bubbles. Bubble gum was forever with this kid. You know, it cost me a fortune, really. But so he would be blowing bubbles while he was driving the police car. And the guys were just getting such a kick out of this. They were just having a ball.
But there was one final surprise in store for Chris that day.
Colonel Schaefer, I'd like you to meet this very special young man.
His fellow officers had a uniform custom made for Chris.
That's the real thing, boy. I think we ought to put that on, shouldn't we? You'll also need a hat like this.
He was given what we call our Smokey the Bear hat.
And something very
He was
special.
given a badge.
Your own badge.
It's very unusual for somebody to be given a badge because the badges are controlled. And Chris was made the first and only honorary Arizona Highway Patrolman in the history of Arizona Highway Patrol.
It was hard fighting back the tears, I think, for everybody to see how happy this little kid was with this grin on his face, like, I'm a real cop now, you know? And all these newfound big buddies.
Chris, you feel like a patrolman?
It was so much love coming from total strangers. And to Christopher, it was like a dream come true, and that made me so happy. Because here's this little boy that I was helpless to do this for him. A group of people just got together and just did it.
The next day, he was rushed to the hospital.
He had all of his animals, his uniform, and all of his police stuff in his room. And by 8 o'clock, he was in a coma.
His uniform was hanging across the room. I pinned down the motorcycle wings, hoping when he would wake up, he would see him. Just as I finished putting on the wings, he came out of the coma. The smile just like lit up the room.
The last words he said was, Mommy, Mommy, where are you? And I said, I'm here. And he simply said, I love you. And that was it.
On May 3rd, 1980, Christopher James Greicius passed away.
He knew he got his wings, and I always like to feel that maybe those wings helped carry him to heaven. After Chris died, the department got really involved because as far as they were concerned, we had lost a fellow officer. Chris was buried in uniform. We had a full police funeral for him, the escort, and a graveside ceremony with the state of Arizona flag on the coffin and presented to Chris's mother.
In a way, I don't feel like I've really lost him because I have a lot of wonderful memories. and I have the memory that a little boy's dream came true with the help of these guys. And what they have done is just, it's beyond words.
The parent's eternal question is, why my child? Please, just make him better. Take me instead. My grandmother used to say, there's a reason for everything. Sometimes you have to look a little bit harder, but eventually you'll find good in it.
Good to see both of you again.
From the tragic death of this child, the seed of a great idea was born.
Scott and I were talking on the plane back from the funeral, and we came up with this idea.
Frank and Scott were happy about what they had done, but yet felt kind of a sorrow too, and it was a mixture of emotions.
Doing for other kids what we did for Chris.
And they said, wouldn't it be neat if we could let a little kid make a wish, and let's make it happen. And the only thing I could say was, yes, let's do it.
The boy was a model sent from above. His mission in life, caring and love. His days were tough and filled with much strife. But if you looked at his eyes, they were sparkling with life. Chris left a message that he wanted done. Help little kids, just have fun. A foundation was formed with him in mind, its primary purpose to be warm and kind. Find all the children and find them fast. Grant all their wishes and make the memories last.